Hey, what's shaking, Warfighter Nation? Ron here with Warfighter Ranch and Isaiah 6:8, and this is Salvation on Station.
Big God 6, Big God 6, this is Isaiah 6:8 action. Blackjack, I need a safe house, next mission time now. Full send, over.
Salvation on Station is our new segment. It's not quite as long as A Faith in the Foxhole, but it's more than a meme. I've written this message originally for you guys, and that was my intent, was to first share it with you guys, but I could not help myself, and I shared it on a podcast recently. So here goes. There's a legend about Alexander the Great, how he would reward his greatest warriors if they distinguished themselves in battle. His officer was to bring a report of it to Alexander, who would then grant the request. Usually soldiers would ask for pretty basic rewards, extra week's pay, an elaborate meal maybe, things of that nature. Relatively simple things to satisfy a simple warfighter's appetite. After one such battle, a soldier courageously and bravely distinguished himself and asked for an enormous sum of gold, as well as a vast tract of land that he could operate and manage on behalf of Alexander. Immediately, his officer mocked him. You know he did, right? But still did as he was directed and carried the request to Alexander's treasurer, who also mocked the soldier and refused this absurd request. Not long after, the treasurer was giving Alexander the daily report and mentioned the soldier's outlandish request. Curious, Alexander asked him if the request had been granted yet. The treasurer replied no, and Alexander ordered that the soldier immediately be given the requested amount of gold as well as the tract of land. Explaining his reasoning to the stunned treasurer, Alexander said that the simple soldier obviously believes in the greatness of my throne, and that I have the ability to give away such rewards freely, and because he has such great faith in Alexander, he deserves to be rewarded accordingly. I recently heard this story in a Charles Spurgeon sermon, and it really resonated with me. We pray directly to the God of heaven and earth and claim to have fellowship with the King that establishes all other kings. Why then do we limit our faith? Why do we limit our ask? Sometimes I think God watches us in bemusement because he gave us permission to ask for anything at the feast table, and we rarely ask for more than crumbs. God is not a vending machine. God is not a vending machine. And while we may not always get what we want, we always get what he wants us to receive. And over time, his wants become our wants. And soon we find ourselves in a deep state of contentment, regardless of what's going on in the world around us. Ask him and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be opened to you. For everyone who asks receives, the one who seeks finds, and the one who knocks it will be opened. Which of you, if his son asks for bread, will give him a stone? Or if he asks for fish, will give him a serpent? If you who are evil know how to give good gifts to your children, how much more will your Father who is in heaven give good things to those who ask him? Matthew 7. Father's Day is coming up. So let's ask the Father for anything. Ask God for the biggest possible city as your inheritance. Ask him for the chance to prove your devotion to him in a mighty battle, whatever struggle you're going through. Ask him because of the greatness of his throne. Let me say that again. Ask him because of the greatness of his throne. Because he and he alone is worthy of that kind of ask. Don't belittle his eternal majesty by only making requests that any third-rate ruler could fulfill. Heaven is his throne. Earth is his footstool. Pray accordingly.